John, I hate to say it, but you look like Cindy Lou Who.
I do. Maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
Only because of my elfin features.
That's exactly it. Yes. I would. No, that's not it at all. I noticed that I am not seeing symbols on the wall. I'm not seeing, and you're facing the wrong way.
Thank you for noticing. Yes, you'll note, viewers, that this is where the mic is. It's usually there, but I've moved everything around because we are in the process of packing for our move to Florida, our impending move to Florida. So yeah, it's wow. The place is in disarray, which actually is array because everything is gone.
Well, I was going to say if it's in a disarray, it's probably normal for you because you're just generally in a disarray.
That is true. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. See?
Yeah.
It's just
I have a tough time deciding myself.
Yes, you do.
So this might I'm going to say this because I honestly haven't listened yet, and okay. John doesn't know this yet. But last week, when we had a plan to record last week, and John had to bail because of packing, and I had a surprise guest that I had set up for that recording session.
Oh.
And that surprise guest and I decided to go ahead and just do a podcast without John, and
awesome.
She was going to be my guest host.
Yes.
And that said, we did find out something very interesting in our household, because my guest host was sitting downstairs at her desk with her computer, and I'm upstairs in my office on my computer. And we always had, because I had the monitor, I could see what kind of internet we had.
Yep.
But it kept going like this.
Wow.
So you'd watch on the screen, and I know viewers, you can't see this, but John and I can see the level of internet we have. And right now John's green and I'm just a little bit yellow. I should be in the green, which doesn't always matter because of the system that we use. The system actually records off-site, and then we can download everything. So we might hear it. Whoop, you might hear me hit the microphone. You might hear a glitch here and there, but normally it's okay on the recording side. Mm-hmm. Well, it was doing the famous, John and I, we have the famous, one side freezes and the other one keeps going, and then back and forth. And then there's the long pause between each person talking. That's what we had in the house while we were recording. So I don't know if it's actually going to make air. It might be. This one might be 2 weeks after the fact.
Yeah.
Versus 1 week after when we actually.
That is so. I'm so glad you did that. That I did not know it. Obviously, you said surprise, but
it is a surprise.
I am so enthused that you did.
It's very short because she wasn't medicated, and it was a weekend, and so.
Understood.
And for those of you who either listened to last week and it was actually aired, or you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, it would be my daughter Peyton. She has been begging to be on the podcast.
Let me stand up for our listeners and viewers that they know that they know. They can tell when you say, well, just in case you're wondering. They're always wondering.
They're always wondering, yeah.
What are we talking about? That's normal.
Well, what if we have a brand new listener? We're getting new listeners all the time.
We are, and I'm thrilled by that.
Yeah, we have at least 6 now.
But there's 6 really powerful, influential people.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
that's why this podcast has lasted so freaking long.
We have nowhere to go but up.
That's true. That's true.
That's pretty funny. That's why this podcast has lasted so freaking long. That's the sign of a strong, powerful podcast right there, sir.
Yeah, we're almost about to start our 4th year.
We are.
If I were in law school, I'd almost be a lawyer.
Yes, you would. As we've said many times.
So listen to our previous episodes to hear that banter.
Oh my goodness!
John and I about becoming a lawyer.
If you have not listened to the earlier ones when we used to, well, first of all, it was just audio, but we'd step on each other. And I think some of our viewers would have preferred if we stayed with just audio because
most likely,
I think they thought we were handsomer than we are.
Especially today.
Yeah. Hey, I'm moving. What's your excuse?
I have no excuse.
So all of that said, I'm sorry I missed the Peyton part, but I love Peyton, and she is precocious. Is that fair to say?
That's more than fair.
And I love that about her because she's enthusiastic and very well spoken. And anyway, I think she's awesome. So I hope you can make it. I hope it's made it to air. That would be great.
That would be nice. I think it'll be very short, so we don't have you don't have to put up with her long. But
you know what Peyton would say? You don't have to put up with my dad long.
That's true. That's true. She's like, when am I able to replace you? See, here's the thing. My wife owns a dance studio, and Peyton used to be a dancer. Now she refuses to dance, but
Really?
she wants to be on the podcast. So maybe she will take over this. I'm like, which one is more profitable, Peyton? You might want to think about that first.
How about if we'll just call it Potty Peyton?
Potty Peyton.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. No.
We'll have to think of something though. Oh my gosh. Well, I am sorry we missed that for sure. So there are some things you wanted to talk about.
There were?
I love when we do that. Let's go to the thing you had in mind and go. Well, I thought there were, but I'm sure you'll think of something.
We never plan. I think of those listeners. That's where we're pointing that. That's going to be what it's called from now on for every podcast that has a video element to it. They're listeners.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have a vlog, you have a blog, you have a vlog. Why not listeners? We
have listeners. And if you're not sure how to become a listener, send your friends to PoddiMouths.com. Those are the two things in almost 4 years that we have really felt like should have gone viral, didn't, but should have.
Well, potty dusting. Don't forget potty dusting. That one was huge.
It was not huge because usually I was the recipient.
Two people talked about it.
I know, but I was the recipient of the potty dusting.
Yeah.
It's like I gave one up for the team.
It's a good story. It's a good story, John. And we're all about telling stories.
The only good part about wearing masks on planes these days is that you don't really smell other people farting.
Yeah, as long as you have a good mask. You have to make sure you have one of the filters in there.
They won't let you, though.
I
flew on an airline. Yeah, I flew on an airline last week that would not allow you to have. Oh, I was talking about.
Not this filter.
Okay,
you can get the insert filters. They're actually supposed to be. So I read an article, and so I don't know how true this is, but it was a reputable source. It was like ABC something. Not totally No, I'm kidding. It was New York Times. Anyway, they stacked up because I guess in Europe right now, some airlines aren't allowing cloth masks. They're only allowing the medical masks. So you can do an N95 as long as it doesn't have a filter. Yeah. You can do the surgical mask that, the disposable.
Yeah.
And then there's one other level of mask you can do that's between the two.
Okay.
And the surgical mask is the one that protects you the least.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's like 50 or 60% effective. Okay. And then the next mask up is more like 70, and then the N95 is more like 80 or something.
Yeah, and that whole definition seems to be an imperfect science because when you say efficiency ratings, is it based on what? And is it a consistent measure where you're blasting, waterboarding it to see if it's protecting you or whatever,
Right.
Anyway,
yeah, so with that, they started talking about the cloth masks and how inefficient they are, especially the single layer cloth masks.
Yep.
But they said if you have a triple layer cloth mask, it is a little bit more effective, not quite as effective as the surgical mask, but getting closer. But they said if you have a double layer cloth or cotton mask with a filter insert, which is the kind that I have around the house. I wear those. It's just a little filter. They said it is actually better. It's right between the surgical mask and the one above it.
Okay.
So it's actually better than the surgical mask.
Here's the problem I have. It makes it difficult to breathe.
Yeah. Some of them. You can
Well,
find the ones that
when
don't.
you have anytime you have additional layers, it makes it more difficult to
Yes.
breathe.
Yes.
But the other piece of it is, I've seen people at airports, and you have too, that have two masks on. I've actually seen three,
Yeah, I've
two
seen that.
masks on and a shield. And at some point, just give it up. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're vaccinated and you're wearing a mask of varying levels of efficacy,
Mhm.
then just give it up. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it,
Right.
and then deal with it. But again, it's all the it's all, I don't know. It's all the politicizing
Oh,
of
yeah.
this, which just makes me concerned about it as much as anything.
Sure.
It's all the politicizing, and we're going to force companies to force people to be back. What country is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do that.
My concern isn't necessarily about that per se.
Yeah.
I understand why they're moving in that direction. So I can understand there's going to be quite a few people that are going to be for that. And obviously there are going to be quite a few people against it.
Sure.
Here's my hang up is really, and I think you've said this before, whether it's on the podcast or just in conversation.
Mhm.
What happens next? You give the government the ability to do that and they take that step. What happens next?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they going to take away from us next? And that's the part that scares me the most, because you can't bring this back.
Yeah.
Once it's out there, you can't bring it back.
Correct. And there will be other instances of other, whether it's a disease or whether it's a something that is going to come up and cause this to just continue.
Right.
And and we've talked about this many times, Nick, that you get people that that say you need to be vaccinated. So the unvaxxed people need to be vaccinated. All right. Well, let's talk first of all about those that for medical reasons are advised not to be.
Mhm.
Let's also talk about those who actually had COVID and have antibodies, and then define for me why it matters to you vaccinated if I'm not.
Right.
Well, because it's going to fill up the hospitals. And so when I go in, I mean, that's the latest thing I'm hearing is that you're going to fill the hospitals taking taxpayer money. Seriously?
So he shall remain nameless, but I have a close friend and his wife is an ER nurse.
Mhm.
And she said at their hospital, they normally have like 30 ER beds, and now they have 60 just to keep up, and they're almost all full. And she said, not one of them is vaccinated.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, but here's going back to what we're talking about. So for those people who are listening who might not agree with us, which is fine, and you know what, we love it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
We want to talk about it. Convince
Sure.
us otherwise.
Yeah.
I hope by now people understand that John and I are very much open to polite discourse. So let's look at what the statement was. You know, if the government does this, what's next? Because they can't bring it back. And what I mean by that is, and again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be. I'm close. I'm 3 years away from becoming one.
Close.
But I have had enough legal courses, I guess, and had these discussions with people to understand that even though there is no true quote unquote rule of law, of course we have laws that we shouldn't break, right? You know, shouldn't speed, we shouldn't not wear our safety belts and stuff like that. Those seem to be written. However, if you go to a court and you've done something wrong, there's a reason there are two lawyers, one on either side, arguing the case. Even if you have proof that you did something, there's always a way around it. And that's because you can take law and people will look at it and then try to interpret the law.
Yes.
And interpret it to support their case. So all laws are interpreted a certain way. So,
and even back, and just let me just interject, even back in biblical times, there were, Moses was a judge essentially, and he appointed others who were judges because there was no black and white when it came down to defining right and wrong. It's
right.
It's kind of especially in a man-controlled society, as opposed to God being in control of everything, it's up to us, and that's that free will for comprehension of what makes the most sense and what doesn't.
Right.
So anyway,
Right.
I'm sorry.
So, well, I'm just going to finish up the point. I mean, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. But when it comes to this, so if they impose this law, there's nothing stopping someone else down the road going, well, we did it this way this one time. Why can't we do it again? And look at the efficacy. Woo, that one was.
Yeah.
Look at the efficacy of what happened.
I thought you were going to swear.
I was going to swear.
Look at the well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So have you seen, there's a new trailer out. I'm switching gears right now. There's a new trailer out for a movie that's coming to Netflix that has 3 of my favorite people in it. And it was one of those where, you know, in your mind, you're always like, if those 3 could make a movie together, it would be an awesome movie. And they're doing it now. Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay.
And Gal Gadot.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Powerhouse movie.
I love all of
movie.
them. I agree with you.
All of them.
I don't know if I never would have put them in a room together.
Oh, I know. But it's fantastic. So the trailer itself, I don't even care if the movie's good. The trailer is awesome.
Is it?
And
what's it called?
I'll look it up in a minute.
Do you remember? Okay, yeah.
So there's one scene.
Sorry, I can't believe I asked you such an off-putting question like that.
I know.
Hey, so there's a movie on Netflix and it's coming up, and these 3 are great. What's it called? I have no idea, but I'm sure it's coming to a Netflix.
It's coming to
an
outlet
near you.
But anyway, during the trailer, Ryan Reynolds was talking. I think it was about teamwork, and he couldn't. And he kept trying to say it and he couldn't get it out of his mouth. And he's just like, I can't, it doesn't come out of my mouth. It just can't. And I mean, you have to watch it. It's hilarious. Let me see if I can pull it up. But in the meantime, John, I have been making fun of you with my family.
What?
Yeah, because
I'm crushed.
We found another new show.
Okay.
That you're going to love. Okay. And that you and Lisa will probably have to binge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'll get that name for you here also.
Yeah, why don't you keep searching? Because honestly, nothing improves the viability of our viewership
right.
or our listener, whatever you said.
Listeners. Would it be listeners or no? It'd be listeners because there's no. It's not like a vlog. It's
viewer and listener. So listener or viewsener.
Vusner or let's just say Visner.
I like Visner. I like Vlisner. I like the look.
La.
Just like that. Just like that. That's how I like it. So one other thing is you're looking at this is and I want you to listen though, even off to the side.
Okay.
That this is the beauty of having done these for so long, and people will say, what got you guys to get started, and how do you keep doing it for? And well, first of all, we do it for the money, but secondly. Notice the smile. Secondly, it's really simple. It's a couple of buddies talking once a week. We just schedule it sort of. I mean, when we can.
Yep.
It's a weekly discussion. And I just like that. I mean, we've become tighter friends. There's no doubt through the time that we've done this. And I just enjoy it. It's just a couple of buds who are talking once a week. It's not, trying to change the world. And no one can claim us or can accuse us of doing it.
They can't claim
for
us
the money.
Does anyone really want to claim us? I don't think there's anyone on earth.
I meant accuse. Yeah, they don't want to claim us. But they won't accuse us of doing it for the money. They've been bought and sold because of the money and PoddiMouths.
Now, I will
say no one ever.
Right, but I will say if Spotify comes to us with a several $1 million deal, John and I are not going to question that. We are taking it. We will sell out this shit so fast.
Well, it depends what we're going to have to do.
Well, if we have to keep doing the podcast.
No, I was just kidding. It doesn't really depend what we have to do.
No.
We're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it.
It's a multi-million-dollar deal, and we definitely are in it for them.
We are total sellouts, guys. We will in a heartbeat.
I think everybody knows that by now.
I think so. By now, they should realize that.
Yeah,
especially as so. Anyway, the movie is called Red Notice. And John, I just sent you a link to the
Oh,
trailer.
good. Thank you. Red Notice.
Red Notice.
Okay.
Yep. And it looks really, really good. Now, the TV show. Are you ready for this?
It seems like, just real quickly, it seems like, as much as I like those three actors, gosh, it's just so sad that they had to get somebody as homely as Gal Gadot.
Right. I know. It's
Gosh,
horrible.
poor
It's horrible.
girl.
Speaking of
Said
three
John
actors.
facetiously.
Yeah. Three actors.
Yeah.
So this one is called, it's on Hulu. So hopefully you have a Hulu account.
Actually, Lisa does. Yes, I will steal it. She'll probably let me log in.
I'm going to give you the name first. It's called Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, gosh. Great.
Yep.
Another murder show for my wife.
Starring.
Yeah.
You ready for this? Steve Martin.
Okay.
Martin Short.
Do they all have Martin in their names?
Yeah. And Selena
Dean
Gomez.
Martin. Dean Martin's dead. Sorry.
Selena Gomez Martin. I mean, no, it's just Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
That is an interesting triad.
It's very interesting. And guess what they have? A podcast.
COVID? Oh, a podcast.
So they're trying to build a podcast, and it's a murder podcast, a true crime podcast, and they have something that happens in their building, and it's hilarious. Of course, it's Steve Martin and Marty Short. I mean, you can't go wrong with those two.
So Steve Martin is brilliant.
Yes, and he created this, I think.
Oh, shock. Martin Short is a little goofy for me.
Yeah.
If believe me saying that, but just a little on the goofy side, but he's very smart, very funny. You cannot argue that. And Selena Gomez, well, who cares? No, she's actually very entertaining too. I see it's totally changed late night TV, and I only watch the ones that are not political dicks. So
you don't watch political dicks?
There are hacks out there who claim to be late night hosts, and gosh, they're just nothing but political people. And anyway, whatever. I really enjoy Conan O'Brien. I think Conan is far and away, no offense to Jimmy Kimmel. I don't really care about Jimmy Kimmel. But no offense to Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
But I think Conan is far and away the most talented.
Oh, yeah. I think Jimmy Fallon would probably agree with you.
I think, well, he probably would, but he has some great segments that are fun to watch.
Oh, sure.
He's not as naturally funny as Conan is.
Right.
Conan is, well, he used to be a writer.
Yeah.
So he just has that timing and the camera looks, and the guy is just incredible. He's not the funniest that I've ever seen, though.
I am.
Present company excluded. But Craig Ferguson.
Oh, yes, he is.
Was the funniest ever.
Yes, he really was.
Oh my gosh, that
and
guy
you throw
was
in
fast.
that accent, you can't.
Yeah, that's true. I can't believe he developed that just for TV.
Right? I know. Yeah. I mean, he was born where, in the Bronx?
He was. Yeah, you could tell. You can tell. It's like the guy's doing the Outback Steakhouse accent. Yeah, because that's
Foster's.
Aussie, all right. Yeah,
Foster's
Lager,
Australian for beer.
I've been to Australia, and I do the worst. I'll admit, I do the worst Aussie accent.
Can't do an Australian accent.
I'm terrible at it, but anyway, yes. But those guys, they have made a living doing Outback Steakhouse ads with a terrible Australian accent.
Hey, what can you do? All right, one more show that you probably won't want to binge, but might be one of those good, just put it in the background as something just to, make your brain shut off, which is once in a while why I watch TV. We turned it on last night as a filler because we ended at the last movie before it was Peyton's bedtime, but we had some time to kill, so we didn't want to put on another movie or anything. So we found another show called Frogger.
Oh.
Based on the video game Frogger. And it's a competition game where people actually have to try to get across it's kind of like The Floor is Lava, if you've seen that show.
Yes.
It's very similar to that, but it's structured like Frogger. And it's very entertaining. Very entertaining. Wow. So I don't remember what I think that might have been Hulu as well, or
Yeah.
no, it was Paramount. It was Paramount Network. Nope,
Okay.
I'm sorry, it was not. It was Peacock. It was
fine.
It was Peacock.
It started with a P.
Only reason I know that is because that's the only one we don't spend money on, so we still have commercials.
That was what were we watching? Oh, well, we were watching Ice Pilots.
Yeah, you watched that on Peacock?
Called them Ass Pilots.
Ass Pilots.
I think it was IMDb because there were commercials. Okay. Yeah,
interesting.
But, not the commercials were the worst placement commercials ever. If you ever watch Ice Pilots, oh my gosh, they'd be in the middle of a sentence and Joe's on a tangent. If you've ever worn condoms, it instantly goes into the ad, and it for no reason it goes in that direction. So,
are you a fan of Damon Wayans?
Oh, yes, for sure.
So the host of one of the two hosts of this show, Frogger, is Damon Wayans Jr.
Really? Oh, okay, cool.
Who is also in The New Girl. If you guys have ever watched that show.
They have such a familial talent.
They really do.
And they look unbelievable.
They look just like each other. It's crazy. Anyway. So those are my show recommendations.
Awesome. Thank you.
For our listeners, but mainly for John.
Yeah, so listeners, don't you dare check them out.
Not at all. Not at all. They aren't sponsors.
Just for me.
That's the only reason you shouldn't watch them is because they're not sponsors.
Yes, that's correct. They will be soon. I need to get since I packed our little bell, I need to get a Ding app.
They didn't buy it? I thought they bought that too. It was part of the furniture.
No, they didn't take it. I don't think they knew it. I hid it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
The infamous bell. They couldn't have afforded it anyway.
How long before you get to unpack the bell?
Very expensive. It will be about 2 weeks.
Oh, you're gonna actually unpack things.
Yeah. Well, eventually.
Yeah. Well, I understand, but I figured there's some things you just leave packed until you move to the new house.
Yeah, there are some. So we'll have some in storage, but I don't think I can live without the bell unless I find a good bell app, which I'm sure I will.
I'm sure there's an app. There's an app so you can drink beer or pretend to drink beer.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I have a problem with is drinking beer.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah. Oh, I would hate that. Let's do an app so it's pretend. Why don't you just drink the damn beer?
Sometimes they won't let you. It's like work. I mean, come on.
Oh, okay. So as we were talking about Conan O'Brien, Conan actually plays the guitar and is not too bad.
Okay.
And on one show he had Steve Martin, who is a prolific banjo player.
I follow him on Twitter, and once in a while he pulls clips of him playing.
He's amazing, just extraordinarily talented. Has been in bands for a long time. He was on Conan on one of these clips that I saw, and that's the only way I watch any of this stuff anymore because I don't stay up that late. And he said, Conan has his guitar, and he said, I've always wanted to. Would you play a duet with me? I mean, I hate to. Do you have your banjo with you? And he says, yeah, I got it back in my dressing room. And he said, I would love to. He said, sure, why not? And so it shows Steve, and they follow him with a camera walking back to his dressing room. It takes 2 minutes, 3 minutes or something. And so Conan starts with the, dueling banjos. And then 2 minutes later, Steve walks and straps on his banjo, goes, takes it off, puts it back in the case, and walks back out. And they did it like 3 times. It was hilarious. And Steve's just walking, looking at his watch.
That's funny.
I love his dry humor like that.
Yeah, me too.
His thing. Anyway, so that was the Conan.
And the interesting, so if you watch that show, you look and yes, Steve Martin has aged. I mean, if you put a picture of him when he was young, like when he was doing Three Amigos, and then you put a picture of him, you can see that he has aged. But when you're watching him on the show,
but he had gray hair when he was doing stand up 30 years ago.
But if you look at him, he's like, he hasn't really aged. Yeah. He must be an alien. Marty Short, on the other hand, you're like, wow, he has aged. And I think they're about the same age too. I could be wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on that. Have you read Martin Short's book?
I have not.
It's a very good book. It's Martin Short. I don't know. Hold on. I have it.
You don't
feel
have to tell.
Well, I have it back there. I'll have to share it with you.
Okay.
But
Or just don't unplug, because I will say bad things about you.
You
when
always
unplug.
do. I edit
do.
this, so I listen.
I know. Which makes it more fun for me, because I know you're going to hear it at some point.
Sure it does.
I know
We're
he's
actually
gonna
so
hear
good
this.
now, though, that I don't really edit. I make sure that everything is lined up, and I just kind of scroll through really fast, and then I export, and it's done.
Well, and it's not us that's getting better. The technology is getting better. Let's be honest.
What are you talking about? I am awesome.
You know darn well what I'm talking about. Anything that can reduce your editing time is a good thing, because you've done it.
Well, you know
since
what really
the beginning.
You know what really reduced the editing time is the fact
you
that
fired me,
forced me to be on video, so I can't cut things out. I can't flow like I used to. I'd flow, and certain things came out of John's mouth you wouldn't want your mother to hear.
That is not true.
It is too. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Mom, but that's not true. You're the one that was just a potty mouth. I mean, that's why
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You were to see, you just go right to the H word.
Oh, shit. Anyway.
Nicely done. That's like a segue almost.
It's like a segue, but what are we segueing to? We're the PoddiMouths. We don't know.
I don't know. We never segue. That would be a good byline, by the way, at some point. PoddiMouths segues. Ha!
We don't segue. We rabbit hole.
We rabbit hole. That's very good, because we're always looking for new things.
The next T-shirt.
We don't segue. We rabbit hole.
Exactly.
I actually like that. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's better than potty dusting.
That is.
I'm just kidding. I like potty dusting.
Segues through rabbit holes. Now I'm trying to figure out different ways to say it.
So we need to do a promo shot with us on segues.
Running into a hole?
Yes. Oh, good. No, let's not make it that realistic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can Photoshop the hole.
We'd have to green screen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be fine.
It's easy. Yeah. You've got a green screen, right?
I do. It's not, but it's packed. Everything is packed.
I have nothing. So we did the other night, decided to do a movie night on the patio. So we took the projector and a white sheet and hung it up. So I'm digging everywhere. And for those of you who don't know, I used to dabble in photography. So I have stands and a bar that go across that usually hold my backgrounds. Can't find it anywhere. Oh, because I have, and literally in this closet right here.
Yes,
I have all of my photography gear, and that's where everything has been sitting for I don't know how long. Not in there. Can't find it.
Huh.
So I'm thinking they're at the studio, but no one seems to.
There have been kind of a rash of photography
equipment stealers.
In your neighborhood.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go dig through the studio junk to
find your stand.
Yeah, because that was kind of I had to tack the thing up on the wall. I didn't want to do that, but yeah.
We had mine is like one of those tents that's a pop-up thing. That's how my background is. So you just have to hang it on a stand, a tripod stand, but it's small,
right?
And if you just
you're small
camera, but I'm tiny. You're right. Thanks for noticing. The camera adds 12 inches and probably 7 pounds, I think,
easily.
What easily? But yeah, it's too narrow for me unless the camera's in close. And then I have a 60-year-old face, so I don't want the camera to be too close.
Yeah, I understand.
I have a 40-year-old face, but it's in the closet. So
right,
just don't bring it out that often.
Not anymore. You packed it. It's in the pod.
It's all packed. Everything's packed. Actually, that was mine. You've seen that face. That's the Mr. Bean face, Rowan Atkinson. And I've done that, and it looks amazing on camera.
We've had it on. You've had him on the podcast.
Yeah, we have. He was interviewed, and I said, "You're not Rowan Atkinson,"
and you said, "Yes, I'm not."
Yes, I'm not. I look remarkably like that guy. That's the story that he told, where some guy recognized him in a car dealership service department or something. And he goes, "You look just like that guy, that Mr. Bean guy, Rowan Atkinson." And he says, "Well, yes, I do." He said, "So do people ask you a lot about that?" He said, "I am Rowan Atkinson." Yeah, nah. No, I really am. I truly am. He goes on this. Oh, it must have been hilarious.
Now, I wonder though why he was at a dealership getting his car serviced. Doesn't he have people
You
for
think
that?
he has people?
I think he has people.
Well, of all the things to, yeah, maybe it was just a short visit, or he thought it was going to be.
Well, and
he's a waiter.
It begs the question: what kind of dealership was it? Was it a Bentley dealership?
Or
was it a Tesla dealership? Why would be at a service center at a Tesla dealership?
Citroen.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah. I think he was at a Fiat dealership.
Cars. He might have been.
Yeah.
He might have been. It wouldn't have been Tesla, no, because they don't really have service departments.
Right. Maybe he was at a CarMax or something.
I'm guessing he was in the UK. I don't know how prolific the CarMax brand name is.
Was it maybe CarMax? CarMax.
CarMax. I'll be there all afternoon. Yes, I'm sure that's what it was. Anyway, pretty funny story. Check it out.
That is a funny story. There's actually one at the opening scene of the murder in our building is very similar to that. I think you'll enjoy that.
Cool.
I'm gonna leave it there though. I won't.
Don't tell the rest. No,
I'm not going to tell the rest. No.
You know what I've been watching is Wentworth. Have you seen that?
I don't know. I have not.
The women's prison thing.
Yeah,
I've seen
ads for it, but
you're kind of a women's prison buff.
I am. So Orange is the New Black was my jam.
Was it? Well, it's interesting. Pretty good acting, but I don't know. Lisa's not crazy about the lesbian scenes.
They're getting. I'm sorry. I don't mind stuff like that in movies, and I think there's a place, but it's starting to get a little bit crazy in my mind. It's going. They're taking it too far. It's like you expect it now in every single show.
I would agree, and it's when you look at the real numbers, the percentages of it does not reflect the population,
right?
And it's everything. It's not. Look, this is not me judging because honestly, not up to me. Right. However, just be representative. Yes. And the same is true for interracial marriages. Have you noticed how many of them are represented now? And again, it's fine. I don't care. I'm not judgy. Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But just be straight up with the.
Make it realistic. Just try to make it realistic. That's all I'm asking. Anyway.
Yes. So whatever. And it doesn't. Oh, can you hear Indy?
He's dreaming.
Having a dream.
Yeah. I love we watch with the dogs laying on the couch if they're under a blanket or something and they're dreaming and they're chasing rabbits down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yes, of course they are
flying. It's hilarious.
It's really cute if you're not a pet person.
Yeah.
You miss out.
If you're not a pet person, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
No, and because most of them have left months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
We kind of like our pets. And speaking of which, we're trying to get Indy prepped for our 3.5 day drive.
Don't put him in the pod.
Pod. No, I won't. Thanks for asking. No, I will not. We have a little puppy pod in the back seat of the truck, though. So
nice.
He's going to be quite happy. I'm pretty sure. So
fun.
Yes. So no, it's not going to be fun. Right now we're struggling. So again, going back to the move thing before we wrap up here. Now I'm in the role of trying to figure out, okay, what stuff has to go in the truck versus what. So I have my guitars going in the truck.
Okay.
They'll be locked up. So if you're a guitar thief, don't even think about it. Mm-hmm. And there are a few other things, a TV, because I'm a little scared.
I was going to say
with the pod.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
you know,
I rightly so. I never had a problem. I had 2 TVs put in my last pod, and it was fine.
so but you
The
strap them in sections, so
Yeah.
hopefully it prevents things from falling, front to back
Right,
as they
right.
take off.
Yeah.
But
No, I
yeah,
can
that's my
understand that,
concern.
but the only reason I would probably pack my TV in the back of the car is it's really the most important thing out of the entire house.
Well, I am, and I'm probably going to do the same with a computer. My
Yeah.
desktop, my 28-inch screen or whatever, 30-inch. I don't even know how big it is. I sort of want that with me when we get
Yeah, well, you've
where we're
gotta be able
going.
to podcast halfway down, to Florida, so
That's true, and they frown on it when I use my business laptop,
yeah.
which I don't, incidentally.
Yep. Me
Um,
either.
no, mine is actually right over here. So there's the proof. There's
Yep.
my business
Yeah,
laptop.
I guess I have to do the same. Whoop, I just dropped everything.
And
Here's
now you've
mine.
broken
There's
it.
mine. Here's
Yes,
my
very
work
nice.
one.
Nicely done.
Everyone wanna tour my office?
We've seen your office over there. We really should do tours once we.
Yeah, someday. I
Yeah.
mean, they do it on other places, other podcasts.
I love what he. So, listeners, when he loses his train of thought, he does the, they do it on other places. Cast. Okay, and
Mhm.
that's.
Who needs
love
liquor?
that. I love that. No, you don't need it, especially when it doesn't hurt if we're doing a happy hour podcast.
Right.
Then it helps.
Well, I think it did hurt
Probably.
the next morning.
Well, how many did you have? Did you continue after?
No,
left?
I didn't. I only had the one. How many did you have?
14. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a little low or a little light for you there.
It was a little light on the martini scale. No, that's the rule. That was from the bar in Dearborn, Michigan, the Double Olive. I don't know if it's still there, but they actually gave me one of their menus because on the front of the menu it said, "Martinis are like breasts. One's not enough. 3 are too many." And
that's so true.
Very true. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Wow.
So, yeah, we'll leave you with that today, won't we?
That is a great way to wrap up today's podcast.
Yes,
I am speechless, John.
You are not.
That happens so rarely.
Never, ever.
Never. And if you want to make me speechless, head up to PoddiMouths.com and tell me so. Tell me to my digital face.
How come you wait till now to get funny?
I'm always funny. I'm reserved. Remember, I don't really edit this, so I can't just blurt things out. I'm thinking a lot of funny things. They may not be appropriate.
We are probably going to have PoddiMouths Raw. That will have to be our next thing where you just blurt things out.
We could put that up on Patreon. Those of you who follow us on Patreon, head up there for PoddiMouths Raw.
Ooh,
No, you
I
do it
like
better.
that.
You do that one.
No, yours was very good.
No, yours is better. You've got the deeper, more
ladies and
voice.
gentlemen,
I'm pretty high and shrill.
Us. You're high. No, you're not. You have a much better radio voice than I do.
Not today. I got to go get my allergy medicine. Fall is coming. Favorite time of year, but I do get allergies in the fall, especially, which is only a Nashville thing. Nashville, the Native Americans called it the Valley of Sickness.
Really?
Because people tend to get more allergies when they live here because we're in a bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is interesting. And fall is also my favorite time of the year. That's what I'm going to miss the most about Florida, probably, is
You're going to miss it about Florida?
Not going through fall here.
Oh, yeah.
And
going to miss that about Florida.
That's where it ends, because I'll tell you what, I am psyched we're getting out before winter sets in. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know that's your jam is winter.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. The only redeeming thing about summer for me, there are 2 of them. Golf, and the sunlight stays a lot later in the day. Other than that, I'd rather it be 10 below.
Well, and so, but you're just not thinking of more redeeming factors. There are 2 things for me too: a bikini top and a bikini bottom.
I've seen people wear those in the winter, jump in snowbanks. Just saw one on YouTube.
Yeah, but they're usually dudes. It's usually guys.
No.
In Minnesota,
you're watching the wrong things.
Minnesota, it is.
No.
Polar bears. It's the polar bear challenge. Hop in,
Yeah.
fellas.
I have a lot of people. I know a lot of people that do that. They go to the lake, they cut a big hole, and they jump in.
Yeah, super. Great idea.
Yeah, it is. On that note, folks, have a wonderful rest of your week. John, you do too. Be safe with your move.
Thank you, brother.
When are you actually getting on the road?
Friday.
Friday. All right.
So
you got a whole week.
Taking the weekend to do it. And no, we don't have a whole week. I have to be packed. They're picking up the pod tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So I have today to pack the pod. But after that, we're almost done. After that, it's going to be pretty smooth, I think.
All right, my friend. Have a good one.
Bro.
See ya.
You too. See ya.